conversation. 30 minutes of pure entertainment with musicians, writers, and actors to motivators, chefs, and even rappers to up-and-comers with the it factor. It's the Jazzy K Ward coming at ya. Have fun, some smiles, a few laughs. Tune in, chime in, sit back, relax. Have fun, some smiles, a few laughs.
Okay, here we go. Happy Monday, everyone. I'm Jazzy K Ward, your host for Artist Talk Jazzy After Dark. Happy Juneteenth Monday. I hope you guys had a great weekend. It was a relaxing weekend, but as we always say, it goes by so fast. And I was enjoying the very smooth sounds of Cherish. That's by our special guest tonight, saxophonist, flutist, and vocalist, Joyce Spencer. Don't forget to go over to K Ward Radio, which is my YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe. KWardradio.com is my website. And if you don't do any of that, you know what we say on the show. Shame on you. Shame on you if you don't know our special guest tonight. We're going to have so much fun and conversation. Are you guys ready to kick off the show? Well, let's go ahead and start Artist Talk right now.
Live from WKRW, welcome to Artist Talk, a live one-on-one conversation with your host, the man with the golden voice, Jazzy K Ward.
Everybody, welcome back to the show. I am your host, Jazzy K Ward. As always, it's such a pleasure to see you here each and every Monday. I appreciate each and every one of you for all of your support that you do for the show and all the support you do for these amazing, amazing guests that come on the show. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. And I see so many people coming in the room. Of course, my friend Colleen is here. We got Gary Fuston with GHP Radio. And if you don't know GHP Radio on the live spot, shame on you. Okay. My friend Vaughn, Kenneth Wind is here. Chantel, Dr. G is in the house. Also, Chef D is here. Of course, he's always running things on the background. I don't know what I would do without these two. I thank them so much for their support. Make sure you put in the comments section where you are watching from. Also, again, happy Juneteenth. Did you do anything this weekend for Juneteenth? Shame on me, right? I was trying to relax this weekend. And typically, I'm hosting these events, but this year I just wanted to relax a little bit. So I had some people ask, well, hell, can you host our Juneteenth? I was like, well, this year I'm just going to kind of chill out a little bit and relax. The weather was really bad here too. So I put in the comments section, hey, Sheila, did you do anything for Juneteenth? I just want to hear about that a little bit. But before we get into the show, I'm going to tell you a little bit about our amazing guests tonight. I'm so excited to be able to have a conversation with Joyce Spencer, who is an award-winning saxophonist, flutist, and vocalist from Dallas, Texas, who covers the gamut of musical influence, style, genre, from traditional to contemporary jazz and classical to R&B to funk to blues to pop to gospel. I told y'all she had that it factor, okay? She also has a bachelor's degree in instrumental music education, where she also studied saxophone and flute, classical, jazz, theater, radio, TV, broadcasting. After 20 years in corporate America, Joyce decided to do her music full time. She single-handedly composed and produced her first album, Sweet Dreams. Y'all can probably still go get that. Go over to the website. I'll tell y'all about that. And has since released several more projects, including Many Colors, It's Christmas Time, and other releases like Soul Inch Chairs. And one of my favorite, did y'all know Saxophone? Oh, we're going to talk about that. I love that. Now, when Joyce is not performing or writing or composing music, she's at work, working hard, working on her next project. And she's also co-hosting the GHP radio live stream broadcast, the Indie Live Spot. Now, she's received numerous awards. She's performed at many festivals. She's also works with other groups and artists like Yabro and People, and also Jazz and Pink, and the list goes on. We could be here all day to tell you about this incredible lady. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's welcome to Artist Talk, the incomparable recording artist, saxophonist, flutist, and vocalist, Miss Joyce Spencer.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joyce. Welcome to Artist Talk.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So, I think we had a conversation Sundays, like this has been long overdue. Joyce Spencer and so many other amazing indie artists you have been on my list for a long time. And so please forgive me for just having you on, but I've always wanted you on the show.
This is perfect timing, as a matter of fact. You have to, I think it's perfect timing, going on right now.
Mm-hmm. I love it. And how was your day today? What did you do did you and your family, happy Father's Day to your husband? What did y'all do this weekend?
Well, the weekend was filled with my two kids and grandkids and celebrating, their father. Okay. And we made arrangements for all of us to go to church together Sunday morning. And my son came home Saturday night. So I think that my husband, the greatest way to honor him and celebrate him, the gifts are nice, they're nice, but when our kids come and they're present, I think that's just the best thing you can do for him. So we had a great time.
That's really good. That's good. So when when you think about Juneteenth, and I'm just going to be honest, Joyce, someone who has been in civil rights for a long time, the last few years, I didn't know much about Juneteenth. And I didn't know. So what's your thought about Juneteenth? It's freedom, African Americans, free, but what does Juneteenth mean to you?
Well, it is about freedom, but it's freedom for a specific group of people that didn't know they were free.
Right.
And it's still about freedom. And we're still, fighting for freedom in certain areas. But when I moved to Texas many years ago, I didn't know anything about it. And a coworker said, "Oh, you're not going to celebrate Juneteenth?" And I said, "What is that?" So he looks and he's looking at me like, "You're African American and you don't know Juneteenth." And I had to admit, like you, I had no clue. And then it was explained to me is because I think it was, what's the name of the town south of Houston? Galveston.
Galveston. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When they found out 2 years after the Emancipation a proclamation was signed, they found out they were free. And I was trying to fathom, you don't even know you're free. And how can we apply that to many areas of our life? Do you know that you're free?
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
you don't have to deal with certain things in your life. You're free.
Right.
So
that's right. So if I'm going to say the word, if I say the word freedom, what does it mean to you, to Joyce Spencer?
Well, freedom means that I can be who God made me to be. I do not, because sometimes people will create a box for you.
That's true.
Even, being in music, I'll use music as an example because that's what I'm into, of course. And, oh, Joyce, you need to do this in order to make it. Oh, Joyce, you can't do that. Oh, I've been doing this for a long time and that doesn't work. You'll never be able to do that. And they're creating a box. And freedom is living outside that box and not being afraid to live out that box. And you can't worry about what people think because think about it, you live inside your body, not me. You know what I mean? You know how you feel. You know if you're innocent or guilty. No matter what people say. So I think that even sometimes they'll get angry with you because you won't live in the box they created for you. But what you have to tell them, that box is too small.
That's right. That's true.
That's
right. That box is too small. Don't put me in that. Like this little group. Like this little Zoom box here thing. Don't put me in that.
And freedom means to even be free to make mistakes.
That's right.
And learn from them.
Right. And making mistakes is not, you grow up and you feel bad, like, oh God, I made this mistake, and you feel like the world is over, your life is over. Hey, so good to see you. So are there any, and this is a little segment we do called The Real You, is there anything, Joyce, that you've learned on this journey called life that you say, what? You may talk to your husband, your kids, or friend, you say, I'm not going to ever do this again. Anything that you think come to mind to say, no, I won't ever do that again?
Spend a lot of money on something unless I checked it out thoroughly. I won't ever do that again.
Do you realize, because I'm still a young man, and sometimes I think about what my mom or dad used to say. And the older I think I get, I don't know if that just comes with wisdom, or you realize that there's just a lot of things. I have a lot of things I want.
Yeah.
And, needs. Did you find that even say during the pandemic? Not being in that box, and all of us were pretty much in a box, right? We were in the house. Did you learn anything about Joyce Spencer different that you didn't know about yourself before the pandemic?
Well, I knew that about myself, but it had never proven it yet. It had not been tested.
Right.
I said it, but it had not been tested. Because you can say all day long, I will never do that. But I find that when we were confined, and at the time my daughter and her husband and kids were living with us, and my son came home from college, and we had 7 people in the house.
Wow.
And during that time we couldn't see my mom. She was in a rehab center and or retirement community that we weren't allowed to visit, and she had health issues, and they wanted to protect them from COVID. And she got COVID from the nurse, and she died as well as a nurse. So that year was, I think I came out okay. I didn't lose my mind.
Right.
I was challenged, but I didn't lose my mind. And I find that my family, my immediate family, we did pull together and we kept each other sane. And I don't want to be tested like that again, honestly.
Right.
But it is good to know that I did survive that, and along with the rest of my family, and we came through it. We didn't end up in the streets. We ate every day. So we have to look at it that way. Even though our income was cut off, if you will, we still managed. We still managed.
Right.
Even when the Texas freeze, when we were in 0 degrees for, I think it was about 5 days, we were without power. We had a little power here and there, but not enough. And then when I found out over 200 people froze to death, we go through some stuff in our lives.
Right.
And that's why when I hear about things like mass shootings, I take it seriously because it's happening to people like us, and it's in this country.
It's in this country.
You know, a civilized country. So we have to say, hey, it can happen to anybody, because the last one, well, not the very last one, but in Texas, was in Allen, Texas, and that's only about 30 minutes from where I live.
Right. You know, I think that is so important, Joyce, because even during that time, you know, I'm not a very religious person, but I even think about during the pandemic time, and I'm just going to ask you this question, like, how important was your faith during that time? Do you think that it changed more? Because I know for me personally, okay, you know, I believe in God, but I think even during that time, a lot changed with my faith personally. You know, the impact it had on friends, family, people losing jobs. I was thankful that I was able to work from home, continue to keep working, but it gave me a different perspective and outlook on life.
Well, if COVID was not what changed my views or what I perceived as, because, you know, I tell people religion is, if you're religious, that's anything. I can wake up religiously every morning and go to work. And being religious does not, to me, identify your relationship with God, because people have used God's name for selfish endeavors. I'm trying to be nice about it.
You can be honest on this show.
And I think that because I was talking to a friend of mine, he said, Joyce, I don't even want to tell people I'm a believer anymore, because they will use that to manipulate me and pretend to be, and they're really not. And I know that, including myself, a lot of people are turned off by that. That because even if you're not a believer, you can tell when somebody's a phony. Don't you know what I mean? I you know, people, they talk about God, and you know, God told me to say this to you and all that. I'm like, don't kid yourself. People who don't believe in God, they're not idiots. Come on now. Let's be real.
That's true.
And many times I'd rather go talk to Ray down the street, who has a bottle in his hand, if you know what I mean, than a phony person in the church, because he's going to tell the truth. If it's the truth you're looking for, remember the Bible says, be hot or cold, you know, he'll spit you out. So the thing is, are you telling the truth? Or are you using God's name for selfish gain? You know, ill-gotten gain. What are you're manipulating so you can have a big bank account, or you can hustle, with all due respect, hustle women or whatever. All that gain, I promise you, you're more transparent than you think you are.
You do. I love that. Thank you for that. Church folks versus Christians. You're right, Chantel. You're right.
True.
That's right. True. So, hey, everyone, I am Jazzie K. Ward. You're watching Artist Talk. Our special guest tonight is recording artist Joyce Spencer. Go over to joycespencermusic.com is the website. And what we're going to do, we're going to take a short little break, Chef D, and then we're going to come back with more conversation with our special guest right here on Artist Talk.
Hello, I'm Safred Keynote Mitchell, singer, songwriter, producer, music industry executive. And I was wondering, have you guys watched Artist Talk with Jazzie K. Ward? Well, what's stopping you? Join them every Monday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live or YouTube. And if you don't, shame on you. Check them out.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Our special guest tonight is saxophonist, flutist, and vocalist Joyce Spencer. And if you don't know Joyce Spencer, shame on you. Shame on you. I was saying, on your mom and them, your auntie them, your cousin them. Shame. Shame on you. Joyce, I mean, I love your music, and I know my producer, I have a script and all that kind of Joyce. I'm just not one of those I like organic conversation. And he's like, well, you just, you know, we talking with Joyce. She has amazing music. You can go over to the website, wherever music is streaming. Please, people, download the music. Download it, share it with a friend. Buy a friend, buy some music for a friend, share it with a friend. Dr. G, she says something. I'm gonna let her share it later on in the show when she says she'll share it with you. And I think you'll laugh about that, Joyce. But we're talking with Joyce Spencer, and we're so excited. But Joyce, before we get into some more conversation, I know you have some exciting news that you shared with me. And for those who maybe haven't had the opportunity to see it on your Facebook page that you announced it, I don't know if we have a drum roll, Chef D. We probably don't, but could you tell us the exciting news? I want everyone to hear.
Well, it is now. I love the pop-up. It's now official. We announced this morning that I have signed with Taylor Entertainment Group in artist management.
Wow.
And I'm very excited about joining the Taylor Entertainment Group. My first experience with John Taylor, the founder of Taylor Entertainment Group, was a little over a year ago when I was invited to play for the TEG International Jazz Festival.
Okay.
And of course, I said yes, and it was amazing. I was amazed by how well produced the entire event was, the great turnout, the band that backed me, everything. And also, I just recently, about a month ago, I was invited to play at one of their premier clubs in Tulsa, Lowdown Jazz Club. Had an amazing time, amazing audience. I love Tulsa. So I think it was really great. I can't find the right word for it, that I had experience with Taylor Entertainment Group before I signed.
Wow.
A little over a year.
Wow.
And I think it was great for TEG. Let me say TEG, the acronym. Too, that they got to see me in action, see me on the stage, got to see how I play, because you have to make sure that on both sides that it's a good fit.
All right.
And for many years, I have been approached many times. I have tried a couple of things and it just didn't work out.
Okay.
And so I think that's just both my husband and I, we're both thrilled at this. And he's been my manager to the best of his ability. And why was he my manager? Because he was my husband I can trust, which leads me to a point that I sign with people that I can trust.
All right.
So it's very important to me because I don't want to work with somebody that I have to audit you, if you will. I want to be able to trust you. And so I felt that way with John Taylor. But his reputation preceded him even before I was contracted to play at the TG Jazz Festival, because I had been watching him for a couple of years, seeing what he was doing and loved it.
Right.
When he reached out to me, it was easy for me to reach back. I didn't have to Google him.
I love it. Joyce, it's something that Chef D always says. He always says this: check the checker. And that is so important. And even in your professional career as a musician, it's so important to do your homework, right?
Yes,
a lot of people get opportunities like this and they just jump at the first glance because naturally you're excited.
Right.
Right. So what will, so for someone who's watching this program or who watched the replay, they're new, excited, any advice you can give them before they just maybe sign with someone? And what's that going to do for you too?
Well, I've been back in the music business because I took a 20-year break, if you will. And the advice is to, I guess, not be too eager to jump on the first opportunity, because whatever is in your gut, whatever, like we say to church, you'll get a check in your spirit, if you will, or what's in your gut. Pay attention to it. When
Right.
I didn't, when I ignored it, I got in trouble. Let me just say it that way.
Okay.
And it's really important to when you're signing with somebody, whether it's a publicist, a manager, or what booking agent, that you're just not another name on a list of 50 people on their website.
Right.
But you have someone who really has a passion for you, loves what you do. I remember one guy, I signed with him, non-exclusive, temporary, to see if it would work. And what he put on the website was that I was a clarinetist. Now, what does that tell you?
That's already.
Yes. So that would be my advice. And is that easy? Look, I've been back in business for 13 years, and I just found someone that for the first time, that I'm comfortable with. But meanwhile, while you don't sit and wait, though.
Right.
You don't sit and wait. You keep working. You
That's
keep
right.
grinding.
Right.
You keep doing something. Be creative. So in other words, when John said when he reached out to me, he had been watching me for 2 years. Okay, what if I didn't do anything? What we have to watch?
Right. So that I think that's important. I mean, it's important, I think, also, Joyce, to stay, because you never know who's watching, right?
Right.
So it's important for artists, especially indie artists,
Mm-hmm.
to stay up to date on your social media, right?
Right.
I think that tells a lot. So if you go to artist page and then you're like, oh, well, they haven't posted anything in 3 years, 2 years, and then people are like, well, Joyce, what are you doing? Are
Right.
you surrounding yourself with the right people, having the right people in your circle? All that's important.
And support other artists as well. Don't be selfish, because we have other indie artists. I just saw Costella pop up, and she's doing an amazing job. She's an amazing singer. I see her stuff. I'm clicking like, congratulations. And let's help each other out. Because when you support other artists, of course, when you have 5,000 friends or thousands of followers, you're not going to see everything. But when you see it, how about clicking a like? Doing something, because that triggers the algorithms.
Right.
The algorithm, I mean. So let's support each other the best way we can. Let's be humble and understand we're all in that same grind. Just because I sign with somebody doesn't mean I'm on easy street suddenly. It's still going to be a grind. I appreciate you too, Costella.
Isn't she amazing? Costella is amazing.
Yeah.
I see my friend Sheila and Paulette Jackson is also here. Gary Smoot is there. Colleen. All these are amazing, such amazing people. And even when you mention that, Joyce, it's so important to build relationships with the right people. Let me say that.
Right people. Yeah.
With the right people.
The right people, because there are people, right people will uplift you. They will give you great ideas to use in your brand. And the wrong people will tear you down. They will, and it takes a minute when you get, let's put it this way, when somebody injures you, breaks your leg, it takes a minute to recover. Right. The wrong person can do something to your brand or to your career that might take you a minute to recover.
Right.
So, so sometimes I have to admit I'm a little jaded when people approach me. I'm like, okay, who are you? You want to do what for me? Oh,
Right.
but I Google your name and there's nothing about you. You want $10,000 to promote one track? Who are you?
Like, what? Who are you? You just never, like, why are you here? Chantel said, everybody with you ain't for you. That's true. That's right.
Absolutely true. Yeah, if you've ever had people sabotage your character, and it's amazing to me that people would take that much time to hurt you.
Right. And people, you have to be so careful now. So because these people study you, they follow you, and they introduce you. And unfortunately, a lot of people hit me up. Oh, Jazzie, I would love for you to come here. And it's like, okay, I hit you up a year ago. You haven't responded. It's just, I'm not that. I guess it depends on the individual. I'm not that. I guess you have to be hungry for certain things. Some people may be just that hungry to say, oh, hey, I can get you on this network. I can get you on ABC. You will be the next, the next. I was like, okay, that sounds good.
I like what Jerry Smoot said. The wrong people can take you out of character at times if you're not.
Oh, and Gary, my friend, that doesn't happen to me often, but I don't really like to have to do that. So when I have those kind of people around me, please stay away from me.
Hi, John. I see John Taylor. This is John Taylor Entertainment Group. Thank you.
Yeah, John Taylor. So we're so excited, and we're so excited for Joyce Spencer with this breaking news. I'm so excited. And again, y'all, everybody on here, let's continue to support our friend Joyce Spencer. Mm-hmm. Like she said, it only takes a second, y'all, to do a like. Go to people's YouTube channel. It only takes
subscribe,
You just don't know how hard that is. I'm sure you do know, Joyce. When you tell even family members, don't put some of them on the spot. I know they're watching. I'm not going to say their name. I said, have you gone to my YouTube channel? Because I got to go over there and like that page.
Yes. And also artists, you have to ask as well. You can't assume. So we have to ask. Suppose you have to ask. Even when I did produce my own Sade tribute show, I went one person at a time, text messages, inbox, not group texts, not group DMs, and one at a time asking, would you come text my neighbor? You made it personal. And did it take a lot of time? Yes, it did. But I sold out the first show, and the second night was sold out, not by ticket sales, but at the door. So reach out to people, be nice to people, and when you ask for advice, don't reach out to people just when you need them.
That's true.
So, I have a show tomorrow. Let me reach out to people. Well, they don't know who you are.
That's true. That's true.
Rich, and my husband tells me, Ladarian, shout out to my husband, Ladarian. He said, but this is natural for you. He said, honey, you will talk to a rock, even if it doesn't talk back to you.
That's kind of like me.
I will, and I'm not afraid to talk to people. So let's say, okay, it's easier for some people, but you can learn. If that's your business, if you're serious about this, then learn and figure it out. Okay, I need to engage. I need to be more engaging. And I found out that even through social media, especially on Facebook, because each social media has its own personality. They want to know more about you than your music.
Right.
They want to fall in love with who you are. And I'm that way. If I see, for instance, Costella, she posts something that her niece or her child achieved a great award. I love that. Congratulations. Hey, because I think people want to know you, because let's face it, with the streaming now, people don't really have to buy music like they used to.
Oh, right. Right.
And when you're at a live show and you're giving your heart to the people, you're giving your best, and then they'll buy your CD.
That's true. That's true.
Then they'll buy it because they want to take something with them.
Right. Well, speaking of that and your music, everybody, again, JoyceSpencerMusic.com is her website. Please go over to the website, signed up. Also for her website, where you can get promotions of what Joyce has going on. Subscribe to the website. All of that is important. And I want everybody, what we're going to do now, Joyce, is check out a live performance from you. I hope one day to be able to see you perform live, but I want everyone to see this clip of you performing live, and then we'll talk a little bit more with our special guest, saxophonist, flutist, and vocalist, Miss Joyce Spencer. So, Chef D, let's take it away. Hear that live? Did y'all hear that playing live? Did y'all see that was just like fire? Oh, I love that, Joyce. So tell us, Joyce, where were you performing at there?
That was last year at the TEG International Jazz Fest in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's who I was talking about earlier when John reached out to me to play for that festival, and that was it. And I had a great time.
I could tell. How is that experience? What do you feel like when you're actually performing live, which I'm sure it's totally different than being in a studio?
Oh, yes. Freedom. Freedom. And I'll explain what I mean. When you're in the studio, you have the mic. And I didn't realize how much I use my entire body to play, to express. In a studio, I have to remain still so I won't move away from the mic. So what happens, and even my husband, because I'm covering Cold Duck Time right now, and Terry Tuck is the producer, Terry and Kenjay Tuck. He did his part, I did my part, and my husband listened to it. He said, well, I want that energy that you have on the stage when you play it, like you just heard. Right. I said, but do you notice how much I move? How much my leg goes up, I lean, I do everything. And so I'm going to re-record it. I sent a text to Terry. I said, I got to do it over again because my husband says, he said it sounds great, but he wants, my husband was like, I need to hear what I hear on the stage. And I admit it wasn't that, but I think studio is, it's so restricted. It's so restricted. But when I'm on the stage, I'm live, I'm expressing myself. If you haven't noticed, I'm a very animated person. I use my hands a lot. And I think that the studio just makes me stay still. Somebody just said, I totally understand that. I didn't see the name, but
that was the magnificent Hatina.
Yeah, so you understand when you're in the studio, you can't move or you can't bend, and you use everything because you can hear it in the mic. So, but that's it. I love the stage. I love performing. Even though I have a small setup here to record my saxophone, it's just for me, not to produce.
Okay.
I'm not a producer, but I do. I produce my own Christmas
Okay.
CD or EP,
Okay.
but that's not what I want to do. I like the stage. I
I
was
like
talking
this.
to Gary Houston about that. Gary plays guitar, but
Okay.
his passion is producing, doing radio show, stuff like that. Because in GHP Radio, what we stream every week, and thank you for supporting us. Speaking of support, you after you do your broadcast from 8 to 12 o'clock Saturday morning. A couple hours later, a couple of hours later, you come and support us. That's
I love the show.
Thank you for doing that. But we talked about that. That's Gary's passion, but mine is more stage. So every artist, but Gary is an amazing producer. He writes some amazing stuff. He's got a lot of music out there. But my passion is more of the stage performance.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to go over to joycespencermusic.com. We're going to take a short break. We have Dr. G here. Dr. G is waiting in the green room. I think she's drinking some wine and and all that stuff back there. So Joyce Spencer, stay tuned. We're going to come back with a little bit more conversation with Joyce, and we're going to go mind, body, and soul with Dr. G.
It's time for Health and Wellness Check-In with Dr. Chantel Graham. Tips for the mind, body, and soul.
Hey everybody, is it Dr.
Oh, I was getting ready to sing. I thought you needed backup. Oh, okay.
You know, Joyce may need a new backup singer. Maybe she'll hire us. What you think?
We got to go together. We the dynamic duo. It's all or none. It is all or none.
Happy Monday, Dr. G. Happy Juneteenth. And I want to hear your take on Juneteenth. What does Juneteenth mean to you?
Juneteenth means that we still fighting. Because what does free mean? We're restricted. I mean, I'm looking at our young men being murdered and killed by those who are supposed to protect us. So are we really free? But I'm not going to go into that because today we're going to be happy and healthy. I mean, we did get that little resolution that we did get Juneteenth, and they are finally acknowledging it.
Right.
So we'll take one on the chin. Just make sure Joyce know the reason why people tell them they have hashtag share my shit. Why you ain't rich yet? Because you ain't share my shit. You can say it, Jazz. You ain't got to hold back. It costs you nothing to share, okay? So y'all stop right now, go download the song, buy some music. Y'all spend more money on Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts.
That's
and
right.
You can't share that because it's just over. So buy some music and share my shit. Hello all. So let's get a good tip today. I was thinking, I never get these tips until the last minute. And I was still playing around and didn't have a tip. And I said, you know what? The weather's getting nice. I'm going to name a couple of things, and I want you to tell me what all these things have in common, okay? I'm going to give you 10 things real quick. Castor oil, sesame oil, cinnamon, rosemary, peppermint, thyme. Did I say spearmint?
No.
Cloves, citronella. What could you use for all that? And no, it's not a stew. We're not making a soup. Don't put it all in a pot together because I know you got smart answers. Tell Chef we ain't cooking up nothing right now. But think about it. Hey, Carly, all those great things. Most of those things you're going to have in your closet, in your cabinet, if you use seasoning, you're going to have it in your house anyway. What could you use all those things for, Jazzy?
You can use this pretty much. You can cook with that. You can use it on your skin.
Now, didn't we just about thinking outside the box?
Mm-hmm.
Think outside the box. All those things that I named, we can use those for insect repellents.
Mm-hmm.
Every last one of them. Get you some nice essential oil. Now, listen, people, don't go to Dr. Google and just go buy some essential oil and put it on your skin. You're going to burn yourself. If you're going to use essential oil, we're going to put in a carrier oil, like a sweet almond oil or maybe olive oil, or avocado oil. But all those can be used as bug repellents. Now, I'm going to tell you something about cinnamon. We love cinnamon, and we know that cinnamon is a great antibacterial and all that great stuff. But cinnamon is something for you. Not only will it have an insect repellent factor, it will sterilize bugs where they can't produce no more eggs. Cinnamon is the bomb. Y'all better try some cinnamon. Don't forget the cinnamon, just a little sprinkle.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, and of course, people think about, they're thinking and think outside the box, people. We're not talking about go get some cinnamon powder and sprinkle on your skin. Don't do that. Just go get the oil. You can get cinnamon oil. Everything I named, you can get in oil. Mix it together, rub it on your skin. Now, what we forget about is we put it on our skin and we go outside and we outside all day. Most of these repellents only last between 30 minutes and 3 hours. So you may have to reapply it, but it's all natural. You don't have any type of chemicals or things that are made up. People will say, let's get some calamine lotion, and that's great. Calamine lotion is great if you don't have it on hand, but you do have cinnamon in your house. Right. Students that you have cinnamon in your house probably have some spearmint peppermint. Remember, peppermint is a little different. People think that peppermint is a natural thing that occurs. It is, but it is a crossbreed between spearmint and watermint. So that's how you get peppermint. But get you some nice oil, rub it down. Don't go outside too shiny like you fried chicken, but get your skin ready and get rid of those insects and repel it naturally. Don't go buy all this extra stuff that you spray down. Okay.
I love that, Dr. G. I learn something new from you every Monday.
Yeah, listen, summer's coming around. We're going to be back outside. When you go back outside, remember, repellent, and don't forget, and I know some people of color forget that we need this, but we do need sun.
Vitamin D.
I think we need to have on that sun barrier. You know what I'm saying? That sun. Don't think we don't have to protect our skin from the sun because we chocolate and we have melanin. Yeah, remember, we do need to protect our skin too. So get that together and get your skin repellent all natural.
Okay, I love it. And Dr. G, always actually in the OR, Joyce Spencer. I know you have probably gone to a Spotify page.
I already like everything. Man, the only thing about some of this music, I gotta play the people coming out because I can't play when they going in. They're gonna be too hyper. They can't go to sleep. We need to go to sleep and hashtag just stop talking. Lay down and go to sleep.
Lay down and go to sleep. We need you to add Joyce, in the OR when y'all get ready for surgery and all
I
that.
will, but she's gonna have to give me a look.
Oh.
Give me back up saying, when I do like this in my glasses, it's serious. This is always ready, but this is serious. Like I'm ready. My close up, Mr. Producer. Let's go.
Let's go.
I see Mr. Taylor's on here. You might need a new songwriter or something. I mean, just.
I love that. Hey, Gary.
I'll stick to medicine.
You stick to medicine. Okay. And tell us about Nia the Germinator, your book, please.
I can't forget my girl because especially now with the summer, she has to fight all those bugs and germs, things like that. Remember, when you're outside, watch for them ticks, y'all. Check y'all clothes for them ticks because ticks have bacteria. The bacteria is in there. Don't think about just Lyme disease. There's other diseases you can get from ticks besides Lyme disease that are just as bad, if not, as the kids say, worser than Lyme disease. Worse, no such word, but worse. So protect yourself, people, and get your copy of Nia the Germinator. She's available now in all your local bookstores, Barnes and Nobles, Amazon. Or if you order from me directly at my website or my email, I will autograph a copy for you.
That's right. And give them the website.
It's theapplife.info or email me at drgraham@theapplife.info. Put it up there, Chef. There you go. Appreciate you, brother.
We love it. And Dr. G, will you stick around for the rest of the show?
I'm here for it all. I love it.
Okay. Well, we love you, Dr. G, and always we appreciate you every week. And thank you so much.
See you soon.
Okay. See you. Hey, everybody. We just love Dr. G. And we're going to bring our special guest back on the show. Saxophonist, flutist, and vocalist Joyce Spencer is with us tonight. Don't forget to go over to JoyceSpencerMusic.com and check out her website and download her music. I told you, if you don't, shame on you if you don't support this amazing lady. So let's bring Joyce back in the room, Shifty. All right. Hey, Joyce.
Hi, I love Dr. G.
Dr. G, she's amazing. And some of those things, I think I remember my grandmother, because my grandparents lived out in the country here in Alabama, and we were always like in the woods, me and my brothers and cousins. And I remember her rubbing, you know what they used to rub on us? I'm just going to tell you, I don't know what it did as a little boy. You remember, Joyce, the lantern oil that used to be in those lanterns?
Yes.
Kerosene or some kind of oil.
Yeah.
My grandmother used to take that and rub that on us when we went outside in the woods. Now, what it did back in the day, I have no idea. But there were no bug bites. There was, I don't know. But I don't know about the stuff now, y'all. I don't know. Older people have those remedies that they just seem to, They just seem
My
to.
favorite remedy was when I had a cold and my mama made a hot toddy.
Joyce, I remember my grandmother would take honey. She would take honey. You remember the big peppermint stick?
Yes, I
She put
remember.
the peppermint stick in there. She would
Lemon.
drop some kind of liquor or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, it was Tennessee whiskey, baby.
And we were knocked out.
We always had, I mean, my parents didn't drink a lot, but there was always a bottle of Jack Daniel that was medicinal. And, you know, and back then we call it Vicks Salve. I think it's Vicks Vapor Rub now.
Right.
Coat your chest, put a warm towel, and then you had a dose of hot toddy and you went to sleep. You felt great. It was
You know,
good.
Joyce, when you mentioned that about the Vicks rub, my aunt, I never get on, was a little boy. Do you know she would make us swallow a little of the Vicks rub
I
back in the
remember that. I remember that.
I used to
I'm
tell
a
my
country girl too now from South Louisiana, so there's nothing that's going to surprise me.
okay. And I used to tell my mom, I said, Mom, we gonna die. She said, I said, Auntie is giving us this stuff and she making us swallow it. But you
What
know.
was another remedy, Dr. Tishner's or something like that?
Okay.
I don't know if they still make that.
Okay. I remember, do you remember something? I remember my grandparents, because they lived in their 90s. They had something called 360.
Oh, yes. That was so nasty it added another syllable. Nasty. That was
Nas and T.
I think that one was from the devil. I'm sorry. That was terrible. I do remember that. When you have grandparents around, yes, you will see that. I see GHP radio host Gary Fuston is in the house. Hey, buddy, how you doing?
Hey, my friend Gary. I see Gary on there. And everybody, don't forget to support the Indie Live Spot. Gary Fuston and friends every Saturday. Again, I love the show. Joyce is on there, Gary, and just an amazing platform for great support of indie artists. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Again, our special guest, Joyce Spencer. I mean, that was amazing performance. But when we talk about artists, and you've been performing and doing this a long time, and when you think about jazz, whether it's in gospel, it's in blues, it's in hip hop, it's in rock, and all that, why should people care about jazz music?
Because it's an original music from the culture. How does it, Edward McDaniel said, from the belly of the slave ship, if you will. It's a music that came from our ancestors. Not has it evolved? Yes, it has evolved. And that's what when I tell people when they said, "Oh, that's not jazz. That's not Ella Fitzgerald." But when jazz originated, it didn't sound like that. Because when I studied music, classical music, we go all the way back to Gregorian chant and Renaissance. I'm forgetting the periods: medieval, Renaissance, Baroque, Romantic, on and on. Renaissance music did not sound like Baroque. Baroque did not sound like classical, the classical period. But it's all on the auspices of classical music. Because you have to understand, the orchestra didn't come about till about the classical period, Beethoven.
Right.
So it kept evolving. So jazz in its art form will keep evolving. You cannot, the creativeness of people, music will never stay the same. And classical composers did the same thing. They went to, they studied the culture of whatever country they were in, and they based it on that. And that's what we're doing for jazz. That's right. So some of the jazz you'll hear from me is not your daddy's jazz, okay, or your grandfather's jazz, but but it's still jazz with other elements. Because even doing Cold Duck Time, when I first heard it, I said Eddie Harris was ahead of his time. And then when I read about him, I realized that he was criticized as well. That's not jazz, but when I listened to his music, even he had some funny stuff, you guys. And then I went back and listened to Herbie Hancock.
Oh,
I said, I already heard that from Eddie Harris.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we're going to evolve, and
Mm-hmm.
adapt from people, not adapt, but learn from people who came before us.
Right.
That's going to happen. But so jazz cannot, you can't put jazz in a box.
Oh no.
But if you like the jazz of John Coltrane
Mm-hmm.
and Miles Davis or his older, because Miles did smooth jazz too, you guys.
That's right.
He did cover tunes too.
That's right.
But if you like that, that's okay. But if you're like me and you go, no, I think I want saxo funk. And
Right.
that's why I love doing that one, because I was outside the box.
All right.
There's the sound, it's not.
That's one thing I love about that song, especially, I love women. I mean, I love the saxophone, especially women, but Joyce, it's something about that song. I'm going to be honest. I play the song every Saturday.
Yeah,
and I know Joyce.
Thank you.
I play that song every Saturday. And I know some artists, Joyce probably, well, Jazz, I do have other songs, but I love playing, because you know what? As many artists that I listen to, Joyce,
mm-hmm.
there is nothing, what? Joyce Spencer is in her own lane. She's in her own body. That sound that you have on that particular song, I want to ask you, it sounds like no one else.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like nobody else. Sometimes you can compare. It's like, oh, this has a similar. This is Joyce Spencer. That is all your sound. And I wanted to ask you, like, how did you come up with the concept, the arrangements, and all of that song, Saxophone? Because you saw that little video I did, right? I was like running. So my vision when I played saxophone, it wasn't a black man running from the police, y'all. It looked like a black man running from the police, right? But the thing is, I was playing saxophone so loud that the police were chasing me. Okay, the police were like, turn that song down. I'm like, I'm not turning saxophone down. So that's why when I did that little video, and I love that song. So. What was the arrangement? Did you write that song? How did you come up with it?
Well, I never have one way to write a song. And I was sitting right here and I came up with the beat. It was more rock. And I said, you know what? I think I want this to be more funk. And Gary helped me with it. So I have two versions. And Gary Houston did the original version, which my husband loves. And I said, you know what? I think I want to release it with more of a funk feel. I need more bass. I need more bottom. So I called Terry Tuck. I said, Terry, listen to this. I said, I need help because the sound I want is a funk sound with a hint of smooth jazz.
Right.
Do you understand where something like that? But I need that. The bass was so important to me. And I know Terry Tuck is an outstanding bass player. And he listened to it. He said, well, Joyce, I can produce this. I know what to do. I know exactly what you want. I said, okay, go for it. And then what happened, and Kenjay, his wife, got involved. And she said, no, I'm the producer. And Terry said, I'm the track arranger. So they both got involved. They kept, as far as the melody is concerned, that was not touched. And when I did the Come On and Jam With Me saxophone, y'all, that part, and I sent it to when I was asked to play with Jazz and Pink, international all-female band by Gail Johnson. And I sent it to her. She loved it too. So maybe that's why. But when I released it, my husband said, that will never make it to watercolors, right?
I was going to say the same thing. There's no reason why this song is not on watercolors.
But I listen to watercolors and there's nothing like that. It's watercolors is very, it's very smooth. How is that? It's very, where saxophone has a little funk in it. And I don't know if it'll fit. Cherish would fit. Cherish is more the smooth, what you expect to hear in smooth jazz. But the thing with me is that I'm not all smooth. My life has not been all smooth. So my music won't be all smooth. The world is not all smooth. So why should our music be? Our music should reflect who we are and what's going on in the world. And that's why Marvin Gaye said, what's going on? And mercy, mercy.
And mercy. I love that. I do want to, Chef, if you could pull up saxophone, but I do have another question for Joyce while you're doing that.
Mhm.
When you think about this, music, especially, I'm going to say Black women, do you think Black women get the acknowledgement that they should get in this industry?
No, and it was, what's her name, Shay?
Mhm.
What's Shay's, like, out of Atlanta? When she reached out to me, I really noticed it then. She said, my dad was in a hospital and I started looking for Black women. And she said, I just didn't see y'all. So I did, Black Women in Jazz and Fine Arts award show. And in that particular one, I got Saxophonist of the Year in 2014. And it's amazing because it's an art form that came from my community.
Right.
And I'm like, what happened? One of the things that I've heard is that we keep evolving and we keep creating something new. It's not that we don't like jazz. What happened? Why don't Black people listen to jazz? I said, I think we just keep creating. And as we create, other people come and say, hey, let me look at this and let me put my touch on it, which is okay. Look at what we've done to country music. So it's okay to do that. My point is that I don't want people to get upset when they see something that doesn't sound traditional.
Right.
You cannot keep music in a box. Historically speaking, it's been that way for centuries. You cannot, it's going to evolve. And it's okay also if you don't like it.
That's right.
It really is. It's okay. But allow people who do like it to enjoy. Don't try to say, we can't have this. It's just like Harley Davidson's. I really don't like that loud muffler. You can hear it 10 miles away, right? But when they started manufacturing it without it, I thought that was wrong. Okay. And my husband was like, well, you don't like it. I said, it's not just about me. Right. There are people who are passionate about that loud muffler. It means something to them.
Right.
So I use that example to explain what I mean in music. I would never take something that means that much to some people. That's tradition for some people that have motorcycle gangs with their loud motors. Just because I'm not into it, I don't feel I have the right to take that from people who enjoy. So just let's respect each other and what we love in music. I love a lot. My husband on his playlist, we have country music on our playlist. Look, I love Dolly Parton. Okay.
That's right.
I love Journey. I love their music.
Oh, I love Journey.
I love Queen. I mean, I love a lot of different kinds of music, blues and what have you, reggae. And I think that helps me because I grew up in South Louisiana listening to Motown, Zydeco, because my grandfather was a Zydeco musician, one of the originators, and R&B. Classic rock, which is now known as classic rock. And then I trained classically. And then I studied jazz. But jazz was in New Orleans, not far from me. So I always had all this coming through me. So the hardest thing for me to write is when it's a write in this genre. I will start writing in one genre, and before I know it, I hear a salsa beat. It's really hard for me to stay. And I think it's because, and not just me, I think most people are multi-genre.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. I know you are.
Yes. So a lot of people always say, well, you just listen to jazz? No. I listen to a facet of music. My niece and nephew, when I come to Houston, because I have a brother in Houston, and they used to say, Uncle Corey. And so, I'm just going to say Jazzie. I like my trap music. I like my rap music. And it's like, Uncle Corey, we thought you just listened to jazz. I'm just like, no, I have a passion. And growing up for a long time in Cincinnati, Ohio, my parents loved jazz. And I used to say, Joyce, I heard so much Lou Rawls, George Benson. I just really don't think I had another choice. Like, I'm like, who is this Lou Rawls and George? My mom loved George Benson, Nancy Wilson. I just grew up hearing that kind of music. And it's just something that stayed with me and my brothers. And right. And so, Chef D, do we have a little snippet that we can play of saxophone? Because I want people. Okay, here we go. Okay. Doo-doo, doo.
Y'all didn't get to my 90-something-year-old auntie jamming on.
I love that part. And I think I like the part, Joyce, when you come on. Sex, come on and
Jam, yeah. Come on and jam with me. Saxophone, yo. Come on and jam with me. Yeah.
But you know what? When you hear that, right, Joyce? You know, that's what music is supposed to do for you, right? It's supposed to make us feel good. You ever know you can have a bad day at work and you can get in the car and you turn on a certain song and you be like, you kind of forget about your worries, your cares, or whatever. But that's what music should do.
Yeah, and that's why people come to your shows. They're coming, they're expecting to be entertained, unless you're doing dinner music. You're in the background, you know. I've done events where I'm not supposed to entertain, keep it soft and in the background. But when they come to a concert, a festival, I know when I come, I'm ready. I want to have some fun. I want to sing along, and that's why. And I call myself a cover girl. I do original music, but I'm also a cover girl, which not makeup. I cover other people's songs that people are familiar with.
Right.
So and it works for me. Now there are a few indie artists that won't do covers, but I do, and it's okay. But I because when I hit the stage, I'm there to entertain you.
Right.
And so if I do some covers and then I say, well, here's my original music, they're there and they're listening and they're loving it. And when I was in, I can't remember which song it was, but when I was in Tulsa, I really loved playing for that crowd. I did some Sade songs, some originals, some songs from my CD. And they were singing along so powerfully, singing the words, the smooth operator, you know, just went in the audience, danced with one of them. Exactly. I mean, there's nothing like it. To me, music is a better escape than some of the other stuff you're taking.
That's true.
That's all I'm going to say. Because I want to tell everybody.
Music is medicine. You know, Joyce, even I think with your Sade, I was seeing a tweet here, and someone said, "Will you ever consider taking that your Sade segment? I know it was sold out. 2 days you did that, right? Will you ever consider taking that like on a tour?"
I would. If I had a sponsor, any sponsors out there, I'm where they're listening. Just contact John Taylor Entertainment Group. Go to my website, you'll see the information there.
I love it.
Of course I would do that. And actually the idea of doing a Sade tribute came from Michael, I don't want to butcher his last name, Arcadea, out of Colorado Springs.
Okay.
Because he reached out to me after seeing my website, Tony Exum, because I asked him, did you have something to do with this? He said, well, he was asking for recommendations and I gave him your website and he decided, well, then you did have something to do with it. But he said, have you ever considered doing a Sade trip? Now, mind you, I didn't have followers in Colorado Springs.
Okay.
I knew he was taking a risk with me, but he loved what he saw.
Okay.
And since it was 3-4 months ahead of time, I went to work and connecting with people in that area. Went to work and I learned Sade songs and it went very well. But he allowed me to do songs for my CD in the middle. He said, "Sure, you can introduce your songs as well." And then COVID hit right after that.
Okay.
That was in 2020. I said 2019. That was 2020.
Okay.
And because I think he was interested in me coming back, but you know, COVID just shut everything down. And I just post comment, what do y'all think about me doing something here in Dallas? And long story short, yeah, do it. And with my husband's support, Ladarian, we went to work and it worked. I'm happy it worked out. I have no regrets, but really I want the concert promoter to be the concert promoter. I want the producer to be the producer. I want to be the artist, you know, because doing all the work, I had a 7-piece band, including a percussionist. Ricky Congo was awesome on percussion. And I brought him in because I couldn't do Sade tribute without a percussionist.
Okay, that's right.
And he added a lot to it, and it helped that he toured with Sade before.
Okay.
And so he was a big help to get doing this show. Yes, I would love to take this show on the road, if you will.
Right.
But we would need sponsors because it's an expensive venture.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anybody watching that knows somebody, JoyceSpencerMusic.com. It's all about support, and that's what again, Joyce shared the amazing, great news with us. And being an indie artist, it costs money. It's expensive.
Yes,
so that's why when you see these artists go to their shows, when they're selling their music, whether it's merchandise, it's a cup. Yeah, we got 1,000 cups. It doesn't matter. Just buy another one, right? We have 1,000 mugs, but they're CDs. It's important to support these artists. It's important. Whatever social media, share that information.
You know what? If you don't mind me, you can support us for free.
That's right.
Every time you subscribe, like, watch, share, add to your playlist, and listen, that doesn't cost you anything. And I have to get a shout out to several people on Facebook, and mostly on Facebook, but also on LinkedIn, that took the extra effort, even to help me sell tickets. Demita helped me sell tickets. I think one night, almost 30, 40 tickets, something like that. And Jackie went to work, sold about 30, 40 tickets the first night, and sold some more, helped me sell more. So that kind of support is amazing. Y'all have no idea. We do get excited when you like and share for us.
Right. It's important. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're so welcome, Joyce. And Joyce, I didn't realize time always flies when you're having so much fun. And I can't believe we're like over an hour, and that's okay. And but before we let you go, Joyce, what else can we expect from Joyce Spencer? You share the exciting news with us. So what's next from you, Joyce?
Well, for the next 2 weeks, I will be meeting with TEG, John Taylor Entertainment Group, and we're going to come up with a plan. We're not going to talk about it just yet because we have learned that, sometimes you have to keep it to yourself and then come out, even announcing that that I'm signing. Because there's always a process to things, and some things are best kept under wraps until it's ready to be released. But I do have a band locally. The name of it is Joyce Spencer and Expressions, and we still do shows. We have a huge, about 3,000 people event, 4th of July event that we're doing. Okay. We're doing covers for that event. And I got a great band doing this. The challenge is getting us everybody at the same time to rehearse, but who doesn't have that challenge, right?
Who doesn't?
But yeah, and I'm back to working on my next CD project. Okay. And like I said earlier, I've always wanted to release Cold Duck Time because it's been a song I love doing, and I know Eddie Harris's daughter Yvonne. And we have talked several times about that. Oh, how cool is that?
How cool is that?
Something just popped up.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, we love that. And again, Joyce, would you please come back on the show, please, anytime, to update us, talk about your music, whatever I can continue to do to keep supporting. I promise you, I will play you on my show. I will share with my friends. But you are welcome to come back on Artist Talk anytime. We're looking forward to new music. And one final question I have for you: Do you believe you are where you really want to be right now in your career?
No. There, it's a journey, and I haven't arrived. Okay. But I have made some progress. That's what when I have arrived, then I don't know. And then it's over.
And it's over. I love
it. The journey continues, and no, I still have some goals, even at my age. You guys, listen. You remember back in the day there was a commercial. You're never too old for Kool-Aid.
I remember that.
Well, I'm a mother and a grandmother, and I'm still out there in the grind, pursuing my career. I did take a 20-year hiatus. And I can't help but wonder sometimes if I didn't take that break, where would I be? But it is what it is.
It is what it is.
And that. Mm-hmm.
I love it. What's the best way for people to contact and find you on social media?
Well, if you go to my website, joycespencermusic.com, it will have all the social media platforms that I'm on. So
Okay.
you just go to the website and say, oh, there's Instagram, there's that. And earlier you have my event page. And also you will see in the contact page how to book me. If you have any questions, for instance, if you want to sponsor, then Taylor Entertainment Group's information is there.
Okay.
To negotiate that, to talk about that. And also, my husband is still in the picture to help with the booking as well.
Okay.
And I love that. Thank you, John. He's such a class act himself.
Okay.
And that my husband is still in the mix. So just go to joycespencermusic.com. I try to load it with everything that you need to know about me. You can buy music from me directly from my website as well.
Okay. And also, I got a little tweet, and I try not to look away from my phone, but people tweeting, it's like, well, if we order directly from you, you sign. Do you have physical copies? And people want to know, will you sign them?
I do. I need to build that back up again because I changed websites, and I would sell physical CDs. But my email address is there. You can email me if you want to buy a physical copy. Okay. I can get that to you, and we can pay through Cash App, Venmo, Zelle, what have you. I stopped doing credit cards because this seemed to be so much easier. Or you can send it by PayPal at my email address, and I will make sure you get one. I promise you.
I told you. I see how easy it happen. Makes it happen. That's why Joyce Spencer has that it factor, y'all. And I love it, Joyce. And I told her, I love it that it's like joycespencermusic.com. That's where you can find me. And you're not given 10 different places to locate. That's important, y'all. For artists, I think that's important.
And then I tell people, Google Joyce Spencer, and my website will come up at the top. And just a shout out to my cousin from LA. I see you, Nisi.
Hey, Nisi.
You popped in. Hi.
Hi, Nisi. Well, Joyce, this has been a wonderful conversation. And I was telling my producer, there's so many other things I wanted to talk with Joyce about. So that means you have to come back, Joyce.
I'd be happy
to come back on the show. And again, everybody, joycespencermusic.com. I'm okay. Saxo Funk, just booming, Cherish, and all the other music that Joyce has out. And Joyce, can you stick around for just a minute for us?
Sure.
Okay. I appreciate you. So again, ladies and gentlemen, that's our special guest, international recording artist, saxophonist, flutist, and vocalist, Miss Joyce Spencer. Please go and support her music and all these amazing artists that you see here on the show. JoyceSpencerMusic.com. Thank you to Dr. Chantel Graham. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you to Chef D. Thank you to each and every one of you in the comments section, those who go back and watch the replay. I appreciate each and every one of you. KWardRadio.com is my YouTube channel. Subscribe, KWardRadio.com. And again, if you don't do any of that, shame on you, okay? And if you don't support our guests tonight, also Joyce Spencer too. KWard Radio is my mailing address. If you'd like to send me music, there it is there. If you would like to support the show, no donation is too small. Also join me each and every Saturday, Alabama State University, 90.7 WVAS, each and every Saturday from 8 a.m. to 12 noon. Have a great rest of the week. It's a little short week, right? So I love that. Remember, make sure you take care of yourself and always be kind to others. We'll see you next time.
It's the Jazzy K Ward coming at ya.